this and their finger getting stuck under here and actually cutting their finger almost off. What's up guys, so we're going to be installing a new alternator in the 2008 Mustang. On the box it says this alternator is for 05 to 07 4.0 Mustangs, but I contacted them and they said that it would fit an 08 for 4.0 Mustang as well. So don't know why on the box it says it doesn't, but anyway, when you're going with a high output alternator, this is not your typical alternator. This is a high output which puts out 200 amps. So with 200 amps you want to go with a 4 gauge or better wire. So I bought the new wire kit. So we're going to be installing that as well. So that's going to be the first thing before we put the alternator on, is running the wire. So stay tuned. So right here we're going to be disconnecting the wire. So I'm just going to use a vise here, see if we can turn it. It might be too hard, so we might have to. Yeah, we're going to have to get another tool here. So now I have to disconnect everything. I mean, it's all taped off here, so I gotta be careful. Looks like they combined it into, I mean, they taped it, oh my word, all together, so I assume that's factory. So now I need to separate it. So, to show you guys where we're at, this is where we're at. This should be the alternator battery wire. I mean, not the alternator battery, well, yeah. This is the actual alternator. So we gotta break in here, follow this line to make sure it is the same line. We need to take it out anyway. Apparently not. Apparently this alternator battery, this alternator wire keeps going into up here. So I don't know. Like, what the world? Like, it drops down. Ow, ow. Wait, is this factory, guys? What the world? What is this? Blue? Alright, we gotta take that off. Alright, what is this trickery? Is this stock or not? So, after pulling it off, look at this. The red wire looks like it's forged into with this black wire. And this black wire is even smaller, a lot smaller than this red wire. So, and then this black wire runs, it looks like everything is mixed up. Oh, I see how they did. What? What? They merged everything into. So this red wire, okay, runs to the battery. And then they tied in this, the alternator wire, in with this main one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna directly, you can do a one wire OEM or one wire. We're gonna tie the alternator directly to the battery. We're not running into all this junk. So we're actually going to cut this wire and we are going to tape it off and seal it off, because we're not, I don't know why I mean, it is this factory. Maybe this is how they did it from factory. It looks, I don't know. Either way, it's very flimsy up there, up top here. So we're just going to leave that alone, and we're going to tie in the alternator, just directly run the power right to the battery. So with that being said, you know, we're going to need a new, what is this? Yeah, we're going to need a new one, this whole setup here. So for the ground, you know, this is a ground wire, and that runs up into here, and then the ground runs up back in there. This positive wire runs to in here. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut this wire, which is the alternator wire, seal it off. Then we're gonna manually run to the new alternator, to the new battery. So stay tuned, guys. So guys, we got it cut. Now if we ever need positive to connect to a positive, we can just tie into this for, you know, I don't know what, but for whatever we'll need. I'm gonna cut a little piece off of this rubber tubing. We're gonna slide this right in here, and then we're gonna you know, cut it, and then we're gonna electrical tape it off, just for extra precaution. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. This is gonna be an interesting thing, because the Mustang has not been started since December. And the battery died because it's almost it's 5 years and X amount of months old, and it was really low cranking amps. So we're talking a couple months without running. We changed then, without, you know, since it hasn't been running, we changed the coil pack. If you guys have been following my channel, you would have saw that. We changed the air intake system with a SMB air intake, but we used the old intake box for a custom design, because I have a functioning hood, which you can see right up in there. It draws from the cowl in the front here, so I customized that a little bit with the old box. So we got the new pipe with you know, the aftermarket filter, and then the original box that I cut up. So we did that. We have an LED glow installed, not the lights yet, but we connected the wires, or at least we have them over here. So those two things, the car hasn't ran for a couple months, and now we're going to be putting a new alternator in and a brand new battery. So it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, you know, everything goes according to plan. Fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed. So for now, you know, you guys are going to jump right into the next phase of this, but I need to order 2 new ones of these, so for the positive and negative side. And trying to think what else, if I need anything else. I think I do need more wire covers like these things. These are really nasty and old, so we're gonna want new ones of them to cover the wires. Besides that, you know, I think we should be good. I got all the tools here ready for the alternator. Alright, so what I'll be using now is this. So this handy device, which will be in the video description where you can get it. we can run our wires directly into this. So this goes around your battery, down so, and then you run your wire into here. So I'm gonna go ahead and run the thicker ground wire, so right in here. So we're gonna replace this wire when I come back, and then we're gonna connect that to the other the other one terminal. Alright guys, so we are going to continue working on the negative wire here. So let me change my camera setting real quick. Oh man, it is getting a little chilly out here. It's 35 degrees. So I'm a summer guy. I hate any weather that is colder than 50 degrees. So 50 degrees and colder, I'm not a happy camper. Alright, so there's the old wire. We'll set that guy aside. Now, when you're putting on positive, negative, and all that stuff, it is good to make sure you scrape away the paint on both the bolt and on the frame. So, let's see, I should have some sandpaper around here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and sand this. Alright. Press this in as hard as we can. Okay, for the next part, you don't have to, but I am going to. I'm taking off my air intake, just the top part, just because I want to be able to see what the belt looks like in case I mess something up and have to put the belt back on. Looks like we got one pulley down there, which the belt goes, we're going to start from this side and go up. So the belt goes up, it goes up to the second pulley up here on top, the belt goes on top, then the belt goes underneath this third little pulley right in here, it goes underneath it, and then it loops up and goes over top of the alternator. Okay, then from there the belt loops down. I know you can't see it, but it loops straight down. It goes around the tensioner pulley. It goes straight down. Okay, so right over in here, the belt goes straight down to the really big pulley, and it goes underneath that pulley. Alright, so guys, I had to go make a quick sell, so sold something. So now I'm back here, ready to work on this. Alright, where's this thing going at here? Alright, let's go ahead. Here we go. Let's let the magic happen here. Alright, pull back. You want to make sure it's in as far as it can go. I think we got it in. Alright. You want to just give enough that you can lift it up over. Come on, belt. Come on. You want to watch your fingers, because if this slips and your fingers underneath that belt, it ain't going to be pretty, guys. So this is why you got to be careful. Alright. We're almost off there. Alright. Now I'm slowly letting it down because I'm still holding the belt because I want it to stay tight. Alright, now it's down. I really want this belt to stay up. I should have been smarter because I got an idea. I could keep it up this high so it's not going to go anywhere if I zip tie it. Oh, I hate this part. You have no idea because I have seen and heard about people like they're it letting loose and their finger getting stuck under here and actually cutting their finger almost off. I've heard some bad stories, guys. So this is why you gotta be very careful. Okay. Let's get this belt off here. There we go. Wiggle it, wiggle it. Okay. Now we're keeping the belt up high. Let's zip tie it now. But I gotta let this slowly down. I want to keep that zip tie, that belt up as high as we can. So we're gonna hold it up as high as we can as well. And then when I'm done, I'll just cut the zip tie. Okay. So now we need to make sure that belt is on the bottom one here. Alright. The zip tie did help because it is keeping the belt up a little higher, so it's helping from slack. Okay, so took the bolt off here. We threaded out the washer here. I'm trying to think where there's another. Here it is. It's down here to the left where you took the washer out. It's down there. Alright, so that one is 13 mm. Looks like it's working for that one. I recommend, I didn't do it, I should have done it, but make all your bolts loose before you take the belt off, because that way when you're drawing around to get these lugs loose, you don't have to do what I'm doing, which is basically having to hit because the bolts are on here so hard. Whew. Don't forget to make sure your plug's disconnected as well. And I hear people have issues with their alternators getting stuck when they're trying to put the new one in. And alright, so we need to make sure. Now these bolts looked about the same size, but this one here that I'm setting to the left of me is going to go on the bottom one. This one that I'm setting to the right of me is going to the very top bolt. Okay, stay tuned, guys. Alright, now let's get this back on here. Get this old one off. This old one, by the way, guys, your stock alternator is good for stock. Now, I don't understand why. I've heard some people say their alternator has gotten stuck while they're trying to do this. I don't know why. And then they can't get it out. Like, I don't understand that part. Because I just put it in and everything seems fine. So I really don't understand why people were complaining about the alternator getting stuck. Alright, first blow out your little plug here. In case any dirt got in there. You don't want any dirt in there. Pop it back in. Which doesn't want to pop in. Or at least clip in. I don't know, maybe, does it clip? Maybe it doesn't clip in. Oh, there we go. There we go, we got it in. It clips in. You might have to take, yeah. Okay, alright, we're good. Now, we're gonna go ahead and put the top screw in first, and I believe that was the right one. So we want to line that one up first, just so it can hold it into place, not move around on us. Boy, let me tell you something, this new alternator looks a whole lot better under this engine bay than that nasty stock one. So let's see, we want right, and let's take this off here. This will give me a little more leverage to twist. I'm not going to make it tight, not yet. Okay. And let's put this one down here. We're just going to set this washer on top. Why aren't you going in? There we go. We're not going to put that in yet. We want to put this bolt in to just to make sure it's lined up. Everything. So let's go ahead and twist this in here. Looks like we lined it up really good. Now that I'm doing this, the belt is not as big of a worry that I thought. Looks like the belt, how I zip tied it, I originally thought that was stupid. It was stupid to use a metal one because my metal cutter, my little pliers here doesn't seem to be strong to cut these metal ones. I should have used a plastic one, so that was a mistake. Oh, we're almost running out of time. I gotta reset the camera. But yeah, it wasn't. It doesn't seem too bad. Since I zip tied it up, it's holding the belt up high enough that it's given enough tension. So I'm gonna get the camera and reset it, because we're running out of time, and then I'm gonna tighten everything. Make sure everything's tight before you put the belt on. Like all the bolts are tight. Make sure everything's in place where it should be. So hold on, guys. Cut the. Oh, good. I was able to cut that in one clip. Now let's get this belt over here, and we just got it off that one, which is alright because we can put it right over here. Okay. Alright, something's not right at all. Something came off. Yep. Okay, so that was the issue here. The belt came off this little pulley, so we got to now drop it down under here. So it's going to go under that little pulley, And it's not hard to do. Let me tell you guys, this is not hard to do at all. Man, to get this thing straight, so you want to make sure it's in the center. And you're going to have to make sure it's in the center when you're putting the belt on as well. So now we got to make sure everything else is lined up. So what you want to do is pull with your left hand, pull the belt up. Make sure the belt, if you're starting down from the far right side pulley, that pulley should, if you start on the top of it, that pulley should be center. The belt should go up like an elevator to the top pulley. It should be on top, the belt should stay on top, and then come down like a roller coaster onto the third small pulley that is basically in the center of your motor, and this is the very small one. That belt from the second one needs to wrap underneath the third small pulley and try and get that centered. Okay? Then that pulley belt, if you follow that, leads right to where you're holding with your left hand. Now that left hand, then you want to hold with your right hand, hold that belt up, and make sure your other pulley is on it. Take your left hand and drop right under the alternator to the left. You'll have another little pulley. Make sure that is centered. Make sure it's on and in the center of that pulley. Alright, then take your left hand and grab your belt again. Follow that pulley down to the bottom pulley. That one's pretty much hard for it to come off, so if you manage to get your belt off that one, then you had way too much slack. But reach down there, make sure that is centered. Then follow that belt. Follow that pulley belt, and then that would take you to the very center of pulley, which is what I originally talked about, that it felt like my belt wasn't, yeah, anyway. Reach that one, make sure that it's almost, I wouldn't say against the back lip, but close enough. Make sure it's on there, follow your belt to the next one, and it should be even. Alright, now that we've done that, now we're going to take my right hand and grab the belt again. I'm going to loop around the car. Now I'm going to take my left hand and keep pulling up on that belt. Don't give it any slack. Alright, now that I'm on the side, I'm going to take my right hand, grab this belt. Okay, make sure it's even. Alright, now I'm going to take my left hand, grab the belt. Now I'm going to make sure my pulley bar, the bar that I'm using for the tensioner, is in place, still in place. I never touched it, so it looks like it is. So now I'm going to grab that slowly. Alright, now we're pulling on the tensioner, and as it's letting loose, you keep pulling up on that belt. Bring that belt as high as you can. Bring that tensioner back as far as you can. And now, can you see my thumb right here? I'm moving it. I'm going to hold my tensioner bar with my left thumb. Okay? Now I'm taking my right hand and I'm taking the belt from my left hand. Okay, now I am holding the tensioner bar with my left hand. Alright, the belt is now on the new alternator. I'm still holding the tensioner bar back. Now, I need to make sure that this belt is lined up on the pulley that's straight below the alternator. Make sure that's in the center. It feels like it is. Okay, good. I'm going to give now tension to this alternator. Slowly giving tension. Okay, now it's got tension back. I'm going to let my bar down here, let it rest on my radiator hose, my tensioner bar. Now we're going to go and look over this whole belt. Make sure everything's centered and even. This is crucial, guys. You don't want to mess something up. So make sure your belt is centered and even on everything, on every single pulley from top to bottom. It appears it is so far on the first one. Because if your belt's off, you can have some issues with your belt splitting or worse. Okay, it's on that one. Looks like it's centered on that one. I'm going to reach down. Looks like it's on centered with that one. Good. Okay, this top one. Good. So, this top one here, that is, it's the one that's in the center of your motor pretty much. It's about medium size, medium to large. It's above the very big one at the bottom that's underneath. And it's below the little pulley. So that one looks like it's a little bit away from the motor side, which is good, and not as far over, which is good. Okay, so that's on, that's good. Looks all good. Now we're going to reach down to the bottom one. That's good. Now we're going to reach down again to the left, very left one. Feel the corners. Make sure it's in there. Okay. Looks good. Looks like it's in there. Now we're going to check the alternator. Looks good. Alright, that's it. Whew. Man. It's not as bad. You just got to go over everything. Just go over it, go over it, go over it to make sure everything's good. Now I want to make sure. Alright, so we're taking the bar out now. Make sure that belt's on there nice and tight. Alright, that is on there. Okay. Now, we're going to set this bar aside here. I want to look at this little alternator. Feel the lip of that one versus this one. This one looks like it, the lips, yeah, this lip alternator is not as high. So the belt is just a little below even. So this has a better chance of a loose belt coming off. This new alternator has a higher chance for the belt to come off if the belt is too loose at any point due to age or whatnot. Because, yeah, okay, so that runs under there. Alright, now, this is where taking a picture or video of your belt comes into play. Just because I lined everything up doesn't mean something's not right. Doesn't mean I didn't put the belt on wrong or place it wrong. So, with that being said, after I'm done with all this, I'm going to go look over how I talked and explained the belt. But I'm pretty sure everything's on there how it's supposed to be. So now I'm going to check what time it is. Oh, 2:25. So me and my wife, when she gets off work, it is a weekend right now. We're going to the grocery store, so I got to clean up. 2:25. I should have, I just need to wire this up. I need to put my air intake, connect that back on before I forget. So we're going to put that back in here. Just like that. Okay. Go ahead and tighten this up. Okay. Now, let's see. We made sure everything's tight. Now, we want to do the alternator wire. Okay. We don't want to lose this bolt, this little washer, so alternator wire. We're going to have it go like, how do we want this to go? If you are putting an aftermarket alternator, you have to upgrade your wires. You cannot use the cheap dincy wires from factory. So let me go over this. If your alternator is rated at 75 amps, you need a 10 gauge wire. If it's rated at 100 amps, you need an 8 gauge wire. If it's rated at 150 amps, you need a 6 gauge wire. If it's rated at 200 amps like this one is, you need a 4 gauge wire. Okay? That is very important, guys, because if you have too small of a wire, then you're going to cause issues. And I'm not liking this metal clip here. This metal clip, maybe we should take it up. Alright, I want to make sure everything's placed at the best place possible. So we take the wire up here. Now that's going to be, should be alright if we put it down. There's a pretty sharp clip here, but I don't think it's going to cause any issues. But you know what, we're just going to move this down here. Actually, you know what, we're going to put a second one of these, because see, there's a clip right here and I just don't want it rubbing the alternator wire. That's just because I just call me paranoid maybe. So that's going to go about, let's see, let's move it up to about right in here. Okay, so let us electrical tape this on. Actually, no, we don't electrical tape that on yet. We need to put a second one on. There we go. So it's going to go about right here. That one will go there. Let me make sure. Let's check this one out here. Roll them again. Metal. Okay, that's perfect. So it's going to go about right there. And that one's going to go up. Okay, that'll go up there. That'll go there. I take as many precautions as I possibly can, because that is just what I do. I know it's not needed, and I know that most people will cut corners as much as they possibly can when it comes to really anything in life. But if you care about your vehicle, you try and take as many precautions as you can now before it's too late. Because if it's too late and you're positive for some reason phrase and somehow it starts touching some metal or something, then you could be in for a meltdown. You could have a lot of issues. Will that ever happen? Probably not. Is it a risk you want to take? Most people do. Me? No, it's not. You know, that's just who I am. So, that is why I do, and you see me do what I do. People can make fun of it. That's completely fine with me. I personally would rather be safe than sorry, no matter what that means. All rise! The Honorable Revline 89 is almost out of camera memory and almost out of time. 2:34. All right, hold on, guys. Which ain't a big deal. So, yeah, the alternator project is done, guys. Thank you for watching. Please follow the build. You know, a lot more things to come. So, stay tuned.